Guys, I just filmed this entire intro and I realized my camera was vertical, so it wasn't on the YouTube setting that I needed. Hopefully you guys can hear me. The music is blasting tonight, so I'm a little closer to the mic. I'm sorry if it's like too loud. I'm sorry if it's not loud enough. So a more official introduction. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, thanks so much for joining. We are gonna do another full week of workouts this video. I am so excited. I had such a fun time filming this the last time. The other reason we're doing this is because I got a new training split and it's insane. I have never done anything like this. My coach just updated my training last week and I saw it and I was like, this guy's psycho. This guy's psycho. He's making me do this. But I'm so excited, like in the best way. Psycho in the best way. So if you guys know me, you've been around, you know that I'm a wellness competitor. If you're new here and we're meeting for the first time, hi, I'm Kiri. I'm a wellness competitor. If you're unfamiliar with the wellness division, we are judged very, very heavily, almost exclusively on our leg development. So we want very, very, very developed legs and a not so developed upper body. So my main focus is just growing my legs, my quads, my hamstrings, my calves, my glutes. That being said, I have always done 3 leg days a week for like as long as I can remember. There was like a month or two before I started competing that I took my leg days down to twice a week, but I went right back to 3 days a week just because that's what I preferred. My goal was always to grow my legs, have bigger legs. Now that I'm competing, it's definitely like very mandatory that I keep those 3 leg days at least per week. So my previous week of workouts video was still relevant to what I was doing, 3 lower, 2 upper a week. Now my coach knocked me down to 4 training days a week instead of 5, all leg days. So now I'm doing 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off. I'm gonna let you guys know, preface in advance, this week is a little bit messed up because 1, I got this training program middle of last week, so I'm kind of starting at a weird point. Today is Sunday, so this week I'm probably gonna be doing Sunday and then Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then I'll start with like that new split the next week. So that being said, I just hit glutes and hamstrings yesterday. I'm still relatively sore, but we're about to hit quads and calves. You guys are gonna get to see like a straight up like mic'd up version of the new training that I've been talking about. So you'll see my previous week of workouts or like previous videos that I show you my training. I lift very differently than what I do now. I'm focused way more on training with intent now, slowing down my movements, focusing on the tempo of them, the eccentric portions, and rest times. My coach gives me specific rest times that I need to follow. So I am timing myself. I am adhering to those rest times. So the training just looks a lot different in terms of like the weight I'll be using, the tempo. We are supposed to start with hack squats. I don't do hack squats. I do pendulum squats. I feel them better in my quads, better on my back. So we're gonna do those. But I don't like starting with my compound movement. That's the one thing about the training programs that I kind of keep how I used to do them. You're gonna start with a leg extension and then do the rest of the exercises from there. So I will meet you guys over there. We are doing 3 sets of 8 to 10, 2-second eccentrics. So 2-second lowering phase, 75 to 90 seconds of rest between sets. So I get 1 minute and 15 seconds to 1.5 minutes of rest between sets. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my little timer. The thing with leg extensions that I like to do, I actually like to put the seat way back because if you can see here, I'm more upright. So I have a very shortened position of my hip flexors, quads here. But when I put the seat all the way back like this, it's actually lengthening this. So I feel like I'm getting a better stretch as I'm doing my leg extensions. It's just something that I've changed in my training that I found to be very beneficial. I'm gonna do a warm-up set or 2 just to try to turn my quads on, get my knees like lubricated. I'm an old lady. It's so funny because before I started bodybuilding, I didn't really notice the difference between machines. Like in my head, like a leg extension was just a leg extension, a leg press was just a leg press. But it's like now I have preferences of which ones I like. Like I don't like this leg extension as much as that leg extension because it doesn't feel as good. Like it's so funny how picky I've become. My favorite cue for leg extensions, because I've always had a hard time feeling these, is to kick your ankles to the ceiling. I'm gonna turn my feet slightly in during these because I'm trying to hit the outer quad. We're moving into pendulum squats. We're doing 4 sets of 10 to 12 with a 2-second eccentric, 75 to 90 seconds rest between sets. This is very different from the last time I did these. So before he had me doing 12, 10, 8, 8, 15 with 2 to 2.5 minutes of rest in between sets. So the rest times are way shorter, and the eccentric is actually shorter as well. I had a 3 or 4 second eccentric last time. I always wear knee sleeves for any pressing movements like this just to protect them, keep them nice and warm. I have Osgood-Schlatter's on my left knee, so it tends to act up a little bit more. We're gonna do just a warm-up set to see how they're feeling, make sure the machine is adjusted how I want. I have this platform not all the way pulled up, so some of these platforms you can adjust. This one you can, others you can't, but I can either bring this up like closer to me and make it steeper, or I can push it further down. I like to have it on the 3rd setting, so not like the absolute highest, but a step down from that. If your gym does have one of these, highly recommend that you give it a try. It is so humbling. I'm gonna have my feet just a little bit lower on the platform here. The higher we go, it's hitting a little bit more glutes, so we want them down. Anything quad related, we wanna be focusing on knee flexion, so we want a greater knee bend. As far down as you can comfortably go. Narrow stance, keep your core nice and braced, come all the way down. Since the rest is shorter, I don't wanna go quite as heavy as I did with my sets of 8 last program. So we're gonna test this out, see how it feels. All right, we're gonna add 10 pounds, make it an even 45. We're at a minute, so I'm gonna load up. Oh my God. I didn't think I had that last one. Like literally this pump. Insane. Next I have seated calf squat, horizontal leg press machine. The notes on here say to ideally do this on a plate loaded machine. However, the plate loaded leg press machine that we have has on where you put your back against on that pad, it kind of curves in. So your lumbar, like your low back, is kind of arched in like this way, and it's really uncomfortable for my back, especially with all the low back issues that I have. I just cannot do that one. So we're just gonna do this one. The thing with this is that I'm actually gonna be on my tiptoes. So this is a calf squat. I'm gonna have my feet as low as I can go, and my heels are gonna be off. So I'm gonna be pressing up kind of on my tiptoes, but like the balls of my feet. 4 sets of 8 to 10 with a 2 second eccentric. With these, we're doing 90 to 120 seconds of rest, so 1.5 to 2 minutes of rest between sets. It does say if it's too much pressure on the knees, then I can just do a low foot placement, so we will see how this feels. I can honestly say I've never done these before, so we're just gonna test out at like a lighter weight and see what we're feeling. Also, always write your weights down, guys, what weights you're using. Each set, write it down so that the next week you can go in and know what you used and try to beat that, or see if you can do better in reps and weight, whatever. That is progressive overload. That is why we track our weights. So my coach, I know you guys can't see from here, but my coach has an entire app where he has all of my programs, but I can't in the app keep track of my weights. So I will go copy the program over to my notes, and then each week I have it labeled, so this is quads and calves 1, and I know that I will go into quads and calves 1 on my first quad day of the week, and everything that I did last week is here. I've been making love, so come and give me a hug. I need to finish this. I cannot be drinking this at like 9 o'clock at night. So this is our last main compound movement, quad movement. We're doing walking lunges, the bane of my existence. I actually hate these more than I hate Bulgarians. I'm doing 3 sets of 8 to 10 with a 3 second eccentric on the way down. I hate eccentrics and walking lunges because I just want to 75 to 90 seconds of rest, I figured. And then after that, we are done with quads and we're moving on to calves. Since these are quad focused, we do want to take shorter strides, be more upright than we would if we were trying to hit the glutes with these. This is going to be more quad focused. You see how I'm more upright? Whereas if I was trying to hit the glutes more, I'd be taking probably a little bit wider of a stance and then sinking back into that hip. And you can see the difference. You see how much hip hinge I have going on here versus when I'm here for my quads. And we're back to this machine. The other leg press is taken. We're moving into calves. I have to do calf press, 3 sets, 8 to 10. These are the not so like fun exercises, but they're so important because the last thing I want to do is get on stage and have big ass quads, hamstrings, glutes, and then no calves. And I've always trained calves, but they're so unproportional to the rest of my legs. I just don't know if I'm like training them incorrectly or what, but I am not skipping my calves going forward. There's literally no good angle for this exercise. Men's locker room door is right there. There's a walkway here, and then I'm not putting the camera back there. So this is the best we're gonna get. Getting calf raises, same exact thing as the leg press calf raises, 3 sets, 8 to 10, 2-second eccentrics, 75 to 90 seconds of rest in between. Okay, so that is the workout minus abs. So I do have stability ball crunches I have to do, but I'm gonna change into like my cardio clothes. I don't wear this when I do cardio. I change into like comfy clothes, Adam Sandler vibes. So I'm gonna go do the stability ball crunches, and then I'm gonna walk for like 5 minutes just to kind of cool down. The nice thing about my program now is that yes, I have 4 leg days a week, but my coach also completely took away my cardio other than like a step goal. So my goal is like 5,000 steps a day minimum. But with this new round of programming, I have no cardio. So pretty crazy because ever since starting my bodybuilding journey, I've always had cardio. Like even in my off season, I'm doing at least like 25 minutes. So it's really nice. My legs are very grateful. But yeah, so that is our first quad and calf session of the week. I will be off until Wednesday, so I will see you guys again on Wednesday when we're hitting some glutes and hamstrings. My quads are literally, this is the terrible angle, but my quads are literally so pumped. I can't even like, there's no lines. Like I keep trying to flex them, no lines. Usually I have that sideline. Can't even see it. All right, guys, we are back. It's Wednesday. It's glute and hamstring day. So Monday, I ended up coming into the gym actually just for a little bit to do some recovery. My gym has a recovery lounge, so I hung out in the leg sleeves to try to get some like inflammation and soreness to go away because 4 leg days a week, you know, it's bound to happen. And then I'm pretty sure I mentioned this when I was training on Sunday, but I had to move everything around because I had an appointment yesterday, Tuesday, with my physical therapist, and he dry needled me and I did the cold plunge. So let me tell you guys, amazing for recovery, but it knocked me the fuck out. We're gonna start off with some seated hamstring curls. 3 sets, 10 to 12, 2-second eccentric, and 60 seconds of rest in between each set. These exercises are literally the bane of my existence. We're gonna be doing Smith machine reverse lunges, front foot elevated, Smith machine reverse lunges. So if you have like a little platform, you can use that. I just grab a 45-pound plate and put it here. And I feel like these are hard for me because there's so much mind-muscle connection that goes into them, for me anyway. Like some people might feel these like really well in their glutes. I'm one of those people that I have to like really think about it. Something that I've been trying to drill into my own head and that my coach has been trying to drill into my head is that it's not always about the amount of weight that you lift, but where you're feeling it, how you're moving the weight, if you're controlling it, what your form looks like there's so much more that goes into it. So that being said, I could probably load this up with a lot more weight, but I would not be feeling it in my glutes and like really utilizing that mind muscle connection. So I tend to go a little bit lighter on these. We're doing 4 sets of 10 to 12 with a 2-second eccentric, and we only get 75 to 90 seconds of rest between sets. So we are like go, go, going. I am trying to utilize my back leg as little as possible. So my non-working leg is really just strictly there for balance and support, but I'm primarily pushing like 95% off of that working leg and trying to feel it in my glutes. Now with any lunge movement or like pressing movement, it's inevitable that you're gonna feel some of it in your quads. Like it's just like not possible to only isolate your glutes when doing something like this. So I think that's why it's so hard for me, because my quads like to kind of take over. When we're doing movements like this, trying to hit our glutes a little bit more, bias them, we want to focus on having more hip flexion and knee flexion. So if I'm trying to bias my quads with these, I'm gonna be more upright. I'm gonna be moving more like an elevator is how I like to think about it. So quad focus, I would probably be here and I'd be moving straight up and down, and you can see that knee flexion. With trying to hit my glutes, we wanna think of moving more like an escalator, so kind of at a slope. And rather than getting that knee flexion, we're getting hip flexion. So it's almost kind of like a hinge like you would do in an RDL or a hip thrust. Instead of being more upright, I'm gonna be slightly leaning over, and I'm gonna hinge, push back into that glute. And you can see the difference here between glute focus versus quad focus. I don't know why this was drilled into my head when I started lifting, but when I was younger, everyone was always like, if you want to target your glutes, press through your heels. So for like years and years before I like got more knowledgeable, I feel like I was lifting my toes up and like trying to only press through my heels, but I was like injuring myself. I was not targeting my glutes. It was just like bad form, bad balance. So now I try to focus on tripod foot. So press through my heel, outside of my like pinky toe area, and then outside of my like big toe, ball of my foot area. And I felt a huge difference in like my stability, being able to hit my glutes, and I'm past my rest. So I'm gonna shut up and go. Okay, hi. In my program, these are the first exercise. I'm supposed to start off with barbell RDLs. I can't do barbell RDLs at all with my back. I know that that is an injury that will flare my back up every single time. Don't know what it is about the barbell. Dumbbells are fine, barbells no. Not RDLs, I'm sorry, stiff legs. But regardless, I can't do any sort of like barbell deadlift. I know that will flare up my back, and especially 4 sets of 8 to 10, which is like a heavier weight, no. So I always try to start off with something like an accessory. So I moved the hamstring curls that I did first, the seated hamstring curls. I moved those first, even though they kind of came later. I like the pre-exhaustion, I like the activation, I like it as like kind of like a warm-up exercise to prime myself. That being said, I'm supposed to do 4 sets of 8 to 10, 4-second eccentrics with like 2 minutes of 2 to 2.5 minutes of rest in between sets. These are stiff leg deadlifts, which means that these are gonna be a little bit more hamstring focused than glute focused. As the name implies, we're gonna keep our legs a little stiffer, a little straighter. With an RDL, you're gonna have more of a knee bend. With stiff leg deadlifts, you're gonna have less of a knee bend. And that's really gonna shift the focus on if it's more glute or more hamstring focused. Even though both variations hit the glutes and hamstrings, you do one more so for one and one more so for the other. Me and these deadlifts have the hardest time because I feel like I have a lot of like flexibility in my hamstrings and also kind of like a little bit of lack of core control, if we're being honest. You're supposed to stop when you feel the stretch in your hamstrings or when you can't hinge backwards anymore, meaning when you can't push your hips back anymore. But I've rewatched a lot of my RDLing and deadlifting in general, and I feel like I go way past the point that I need to be going. So like my hips will push all the way back, and then instead of just stopping there, I'll keep going. So then it's really just my back taking over. If I'm here doing a deadlift and I'm pushing my glutes back to here, and I get here and my glutes aren't going any further back, this is where I should stop. But my issue is that since I'm a little bit more flexible, I don't really have that control yet like I should. I will continue to go down, and you can see my glutes aren't going back anymore. This is all my back, right? So with someone like me who has this low back issue that flares up every once in a while, I do not want to be doing that. I try to focus on only using my glutes and hamstrings to pull myself up, only going until I cannot push my butt back anymore. Feet about shoulder width apart. We want to keep our core nice and engaged. I like to think about kind of tucking my ribs and pushing against my belt slightly. We want our lats engaged as well, so squeezing an orange in between our armpits. Tuck chin for a neutral spine. LOL at the fact that my glutes are already like toast and I have like 4 more exercises to go or something like that. Next, we're doing cable glute kickbacks, 4 sets, 8 to 10, 75 to 90 second rest periods, 2-second eccentrics. I'm supposed to be doing these on the kickback machine. And we actually do have the machine that he's programmed for me, but I did just try it. And I don't know if it's just because it's not like short people friendly. I just do not feel that in my glutes at all. So we're gonna stick to cables. So luckily for my last few exercises, they're literally all right here in this little corner. So perfect, don't have to travel far. I have hip thrusts next. So I'm doing these standing hip thrusts. Technically I have glute bridges. I don't really feel glute bridges, so I'm making the swap. And this is where exercise selection is super important, and listening to your body, knowing what works for you. I have barbell glute bridges programmed, but I don't feel those like at all. I never feel those in my glutes. The standing hip thrust, I was such a hater of it at first. Honestly, I thought it was stupid. I couldn't feel it. And then I actually learned how to use it, and I love it. It's my favorite thing ever. So we're doing 3 sets of 8 to 10, 2-second eccentric, 75 to 90 second rest. Also, if your gym does have this, and you've never tried it, or it looks intimidating, or you also don't like it, I'm gonna show you guys my little cues so that maybe you give it a try, maybe you end up liking it like I did. Obviously, you kind of want to adjust this machine so that the hip pad is where you want it. Posterior pelvic tilt, we're gonna tuck our tail, tuck our pelvis. I'm literally holding onto this. If I let go of this, I am flying backwards, so do not let go. But I am feeling that stretch in my glutes, getting a really nice stretch. And you see how far I'm hinging backward? I'm pushing through mostly my heels, but like I said, my feet. And I'm keeping that posterior pelvic tilt, and I'm driving into this pad. So we're doing the horizontal leg press again, obviously. But we're gonna do it glute focused this time. Sumo stance doesn't necessarily target the glutes more. It's more so having your feet higher that targets the glutes more versus having them lower on the platform. Sumo is actually gonna hit your adductors a little bit more. I am going with a wider, higher stance. So we're doing 3 sets of 10 to 12. You guys can guess it. 2-second eccentric, 75 to 90 second rest. Do you see a common theme here? Genuinely, what I'm thinking about is pushing this platform away from me using only my glutes. So I'm literally flexing my glutes to try to push this away, trying to get like as little quad as possible. So like here, flex my glutes, push with my glutes. Last exercise. We are ending with some abductions. I'm using this machine. Usually it's called a gluteator. Kind of looks like an abduction machine, a little bit different. Highly recommend you try. So this hits the glute medius like crazy. I've talked about this in other videos, but you'll see normal abduction machines just train abduction, right? So you're just going out. This machine does abduction and hip extension. So you're going out and back, and it's really, really hitting the glutes. Only thing is that most of these come with a seatbelt. This one does not. So I had to buy my own seatbelt on Amazon, I think, so that I can use it, because when you're doing this kind of movement, especially with like heavier weights, your back is gonna wanna arch, your hips are gonna wanna come off of the seat, off of the back pad. I'm gonna do 3 sets of 10 to 12. Okay, glutes and hamstrings is done. It's super late. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I got such a late start to this workout today. I was just kind of like running around and getting everything ready for tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving. So that being said, I'm gonna hit an earlier workout. So if there is one thing that bodybuilding has made me hate, it is morning workouts. I have become such a stickler for having to have like a certain amount of meals in me or a certain amount of food in me before I train. I hate training in the morning. I'm in my routine with training in the evening. So That being said, tomorrow, obviously, we got to make some adjustments. So I'm going to be here in the morning. We have quads, calves, abs tomorrow. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to walk on the treadmill for like a little bit, just like get a couple steps in, cool down, do my stretches, and then I'm going to go sit in the leg sleeves, make sure my legs are nice and ready for tomorrow. One now watching the throne. Don't let me into my zone. Don't let me into my zone. I'm definitely in my zone. All right. Hi friends, we're back literally 12 hours later. It is 11 in the morning. I was supposed to get here at 10, did not. I had my breakfast and my pre-workout meal combined because if you guys watched my full day of eating, you'll know that my breakfast, I have no carbs, and my pre-workout meal, I have no protein. I ended up just combining them and having like a bigger meal. I had to wait a little bit longer just because I was pretty full. So I need a little bit of extra something this morning. So I'm gonna have this stim-free pre-workout pump product from Evogen. This is the Tropic Thunder. So freaking good. This and sour candy are probably my top two. I promise I'm super excited about this workout. I am just still waking up, so bear with me. And honestly, I was a little worried. I was thinking last night and this morning, I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do a mic'd up for this workout because it is Thanksgiving. I was like, the gym's either gonna be empty or it's gonna be mobbed and I'm not gonna be able to do a mic'd up. Like I'm just gonna have to like film the workout when I can and then do a voiceover. It's honestly not that bad. Knock on wood, I'm hoping it stays this way. I have like a long ass warm up from my physical therapist. So literally I have all this stuff over here that I need to use to warm up. This is for my psoas. I have to lay on this on my stomach. Anyway, I'm gonna warm up and then I will see you guys over at the leg extension. That is my first exercise. Back at the leg extension. I feel like I was just here. We are starting off with some single leg extensions, 3 sets of 8 to 10 each leg, 2-second eccentric, 75 to 90 second rest. When I say it out loud to you guys, I'm seeing the common theme of like the eccentric and rest periods with this program. So same kind of cues here as before, but we're just doing a single leg. Reminder that when you're doing single leg exercises, whether it be these, lunges, RDLs, whatever the case may be, kickbacks, always make sure that you're starting with your weaker leg first because you want to match those reps. So let's say I start with my stronger leg and I get like 12 reps and then I try to match that on my weaker leg. 1, I'm going to be a little more fatigued because I just did a set. 2, it's obviously my weaker leg, so I might not be able to match those reps and get 12. Maybe I get like 10. So if I start with my weaker leg and I can only get 10, move over to my stronger leg, I know that I should probably stop around 10. Good way to correct imbalances with strength, aesthetics. Supposed to be doing barbell back squats, but I do not barbell back squat, so Smith machine it is. So we have 4 sets of 8 to 10, 3-second eccentric with 2 to 2.5 minutes of rest in between sets. These are going to be quad focused. So I'm gonna be doing a narrow stance and trying to emphasize the quads as much as I can. It's a little bit difficult because my glutes are so dang sore from yesterday. So it's like almost impossible not to feel them. Is it weird? I actually kind of like training a muscle group when it's still a little bit sore because I feel like I can feel it more. I can feel it working more. I don't know. But that said, my glutes and hams are so sore that I feel them working so much on some of these movements. So I'm gonna try to limit that as much as I can. I know you can't see what I'm doing because I have the camera angle at a really bad spot, but I'm putting on knee sleeves because I have the knees of a 90-year-old woman. So for the actual squat setup, so I have my safeties up, which is super important because I will be going to failure on the last set here, and that safety is gonna save my life. This is an angled Smith machine, so if you're trying to hit your quads, you want to have it on the side that it should be kind of going towards your back. So the slant should be moving towards your back, like towards that way. If I go this way and the slant is here, right? If I go this way and it's going towards my front, that's gonna cause me to sit back into my hips more, which is gonna be a more glute focused squat. So since I'm trying to hit quads, I want it angled this way. I'm gonna step out a little bit further. So I'm going until I feel a good stretch in my quads before my glutes wanna take over. And then we're coming up. You'll notice that I have more of an upright position. It's basically kind of like I'm doing a wall sit here. Because I've had these programmed in like my own programming I was doing for a while, and I was doing sets of like 8 to 10 at like 255, 265. Obviously, probably not that because the Smith machine bar is not as heavy as a regular barbell, but you get the idea. I felt like I was kind of just pushing weight to push weight, and I was failing because like my body physically couldn't push the weight up anymore. It wasn't because any particular muscle group was failing, it was just like it was heavy weight. And I was always saying, like, I feel like I'm feeling it in my joints. Like I'm feeling this in my knees. I'm not feeling this in my quads, my glutes, or like whatever I'm trying to target. So after talking with my coach, obviously, and following his programming, I have significantly dropped the weight. I have 135 on, right? Like not a lot of weight compared to what I can lift, but I'm failing at this weight. Well, 155, I failed at last week, but I'm failing at these lighter weights with like the muscle I'm trying to target. So like when my quads are literally failing, I'm feeling it in my quads where I'm supposed to be feeling it, and I'm fatiguing and failing that muscle group. So this style of training has just been so amazing for like it's just been like such a game changer. So if you are struggling, if you feel like you're kind of just maybe pushing weight, or like I don't know, you're not really feeling it how you want to, or you just want to switch up your style of training, I highly recommend. And it's hard because ego does get in the way, because it's like part of me is like I feel like I should be lifting super heavy weight or pushing more weight, or like I can lift this, so I should. And that's not necessarily the case, and that's something that I've had to drill into my head. It's not the amount of weight, it's how you move the weight, it's how you feel the weight. That being said, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and I'm gonna do this set. Next, we're moving into everyone's favorite Bulgarian split squats. 4 sets, 10 to 12, 2-second eccentrics, 60 to 75-second rest. So I get a minute about of rest in between sets. Since this is gonna be quad focused, we're gonna focus on moving more like an elevator. I'm gonna be more upright, more knee flexion, you know the drill. This is our last quad exercise before I get into calf. It's gonna be a little bit hard to show you with like the horizontal frame. We're doing goblet squats. I have heel elevated goblet squats. I have 3 sets of 10 to 12, 2-second eccentric, 75 to 90-second rest. The notes in this are to actually elevate my heels on the other one of the pair of dumbbells. So for these, I got the 45s. I'll be lifting one of the 45s and elevating my heels on the. I'm gonna elevate my heels on this dumbbell, squat down till our butt touches, and then that's gonna be our stopping point. So it makes it a little bit easier and a lot more quad focus. This also makes it like so much easier to like load the dumbbell, because I can literally just sit on this dumbbell and like bring this up. Oh my goodness, thank God we are done with that, because my legs are toast. 2 calf exercises. We're just doing seated and standing calf raises for a couple sets, and then I'm gonna end with some planks. Seated calf raises, 4 sets of 10 to 12. Okay, so I went ahead and I did the standing calf raises. You guys saw those on the last quad day that I did, so figured I didn't have to show you again. But I'm in a rush now, of course, because I'm always running late. So I'm gonna go do a couple sets of planks for core work. Then I gotta go get ready for Thanksgiving dinner. But that is the last quad workout of the week. Second workout and the last one. So I don't know if you can tell, again, how pumped the quads are. Usually you can see some lines here a little bit better, but not today. But yeah, that is the quad workout. And then I'm gonna be off tomorrow, Friday. And then I'm gonna hit glutes and hams, my last workout of the week, on Saturday. And I will bring you guys with me for that. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat, fuel the game, devour some Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, friends. I know that week of workouts, I'm usually gonna be at the gym during these videos, but I wanted to hop on here so it's Friday. My legs are so sore, which is to be expected. Normally on the days that I do train like 2 days in a row, so like I'll do glutes and hams and then quads, like I have it split up, I'll usually wait like a full 24 hours, but since I had to work out a little bit earlier because of Thanksgiving and everything, I'm definitely feeling it. So I just wanted to show you guys that I'm headed over to the gym right now to go do like a little recovery session. I'm gonna go lay in the leg sleeves, probably try to like sauna it out a little bit. But I'm putting this as part of my week of workouts, excuse me while I look for my creatine, because I wanna show you guys that there is more that goes into training and growing and developing your physique than just like the actual training portion. Like I feel like my recovery is equally as important as my training, because if I'm not recovering from my training sessions, I'm not growing a muscle. So friendly reminder that training is what breaks down our muscle tissue, creates those little micro tears, and our recovery time, the time that we spend resting outside of the gym, is what heals those muscle tears and repairs your muscle tissue and gets you stronger and gets you bigger and yada, yada, yada. If we're not focusing on our recovery and we are just like kind of dilly-dallying around, we're not getting our hydration, we're not getting enough sleep, we're not doing the things that we need to be doing to recover, we're just kind of digging ourselves into a hole. We're not doing ourselves a service. And it's taken me years and years and years and years and years to learn this. So I just wanted to hop on, tell you guys that's what I'm doing for Friday. And I am gonna take you guys with me just so you can see like a tiny, tiny little bit of what I do. Back again. I'm listening to my 2022 Spotify Wrapped, and it's all of the songs that I was listening to when I was on prep. We have 4 sets of 8 to 10, 90-second rest, 4-second eccentric. 4 seconds. That's insane. Got it. Seated hamstring curls especially, I feel like it's so easy to go too heavy and end up compromising form. So you want to make sure that you're still picking a weight that's like challenging and that you're using your hamstrings for, but not overpowering where you're compromised. So what I mean is that it's like very easy if the weight is too heavy to end up like arching our back or trying to like arch to pull the weight down. And at that point, we're just kind of taking our hamstrings out of it and we're not really training them to like the full capacity that we could be if we just lower the weight and focused on our form, just recruiting the hamstrings overall. So something I've learned, so keep that in mind. If you do have trouble with your back arching too much off this back pad, one, always try to, of course, have that cue to push your low back into this. But if you're still struggling, you can lean forward. I don't really like doing that. Sometimes I'll do it. Sometimes I feel it better in my hamstrings, but most of the time I don't really feel the need to. Sometimes I'll push against this to try to keep my back, but you can lean forward and kind of like hang on. It does help engage the hamstrings, but... So next up, I normally would have hip thrust. However, like I mentioned earlier, I'm just kind of taking a break from traditional hip thrust. Standing hip thrust again it is. We're doing 4 sets of 8 to 10, 3-second eccentric, 2-minute rest in between each set. So next up, I'm going to be doing these good mornings on the beef slot machine. These have taken me so long to really get down because with the angles these are at and like just the mechanics of the exercise, I feel like you're able to like really load this up and never actually work your glutes and hamstrings. Like I've literally done like 3 or 4 plates on each side. Oh, did I just rip my pants? No, I didn't. Okay, and done good mornings and felt like it was just moving so easily, but I was never actually activating my glutes and hamstrings. Here's the thing that I've noticed that helps me is to not necessarily go as far down. Like stop, again, like RDLs, like I talked about, stop when you feel that stretch in your glutes and hamstrings, stop when you can't push your butt back any further. 4 sets of 10 to 12 with a 4-second eccentric and 1.5 to 2 minutes of rest in between each set. So feet about shoulder width apart. Next, we're gonna move into some glute-focused hyperextensions. So we're gonna do 3 sets of 10 to 12 with a 2-second eccentric, 75 to 90 seconds of rest between sets. I went over these in my last YouTube video, but I have 3 main cues for these. I had the hardest time feeling these in my glutes when I first started doing them because it is so easy to feel these in your back. My gym has this booty builder machine, which I love, but if your gym does not have it, that is totally okay. You can use any regular 45-degree hyperextension and then just grab a plate or a barbell. You can use a dumbbell. First cue, we want our feet pointed slightly outward, so a little bit at a 45-degree angle here. Second cue, some people like this, some people don't. I like it. I've always done them this way to target my glutes, but a rounded upper back. So you're kind of like hunched over almost, but I like to keep my upper back rounded. We're taking my back completely out of the movement. I'm gonna look like a little hunchback. And then the most important cue for me has been to treat this kind of like a hip thrust. So as we're coming up, rather than thinking about pulling the weight up with you, think about driving your hips into this pad, like hip thrusting into this pad, squeezing your glutes into this pad in order to bring the weight up. And that has been a game changer for me. This is like a personal preference of mine. You don't have to do this, but I like to hold the bar on this machine like in my elbow, like kind of cradle it. And I feel like it just allows me, 1, to be like more rounded with my upper back, and I can kind of like really hug it. And 2, I don't have to worry about my grip and like holding it. So I don't know. I just find that like the closer I hold it to me, the better. Now we're gonna move into abductions and adductions. Just knock them both out while we're here. So I'm doing 4 sets of 10 to 12 of the abductions, 3 sets of 10 to 12 of the adductions. Both have a 2-second eccentric, and both are 75 to 90 seconds of rest between each set. We are trying to hit the glute medius. It is such a tiny little muscle, and I wanna make sure that I am strictly using that to push the weight out. So abductions are one of those things that I feel like are hated on in the fitness community. Like some people love them, a lot of people hate them, and a lot of people say that they're pointless. If you do them sitting straight up, they can aggravate your piriformis, which can cause sciatic pain, low back pain. So when I do these, I make sure that I'm leaning forward to try to hit more of the glute med. And I personally really love them for my glutes. Like they burn my glutes like no other. So. We're gonna finish up with some lying hamstring curls, 3 sets, 10 to 12, 2-second eccentrics, 75 to 90 seconds of rest. With these, I do try to focus on like keeping my hips dug into the pad so I'm not arching my back. My hamstrings are literally toast, so this is gonna be great. that is going to conclude this week of workouts, this week of 4 leg days. I don't think that this is going to be like my permanent split. We are at the end of a push phase where my food is just super high, and we're really trying to utilize that and grow these legs. So I will let you guys know if/when my split gets updated, and I will do another full week of workout. But until then, this is what we're going with. So let me know if you try any of the workouts that we did this week. Comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss another video. And while we're at it, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. As always, I will put the handles right here. If we're even gonna have TikTok any longer, I don't know. I also do post a lot of my workouts and fitness tips on Lemon8. So if you're interested in that, I will put that in the links down below. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.